Hi, I am Myles Cupp, an instructor at South Coast Swords, and today I want to talk to you guys about the new line of Blackfencer steel rapiers. Blackfencer's been making synthetic rapiers for quite some time, both swept hilt and cup hilt and longer length and medium length, but this is the first steel rapier that I've managed to get my hands on, so I'd like to talk about it, show some sparring highlights, and also show a little bit of a surprise that we have for you towards the end of this video. So this particular rapier is the result of a few different collaborations. The blade is based on a historical blade that was found by Accademia di Spada, and the hilt design is based off of some suggestions I made to Blackfencer to make a Fabris-inspired rapier hilt based on the illustrations in the Fabrician text. What's really nice about the particulars of this blade is that even though it is based on a historical example, it has been modified in some small ways to make it suitable for HEMA practice. For example, the edges are of course blunted for safety, but also the tip is spatulated. So even if you decide to put a tip on it, that little bit of spatulation will help. One of the differences with the Blackfencer rapier in this particular hilt arrangement is how short the pommel is compared to a lot of other rapiers that I've handled, from whether it's Darkwood or Castile, is that the pommel is relatively short relative to the length of the whole hilt itself. Now, some folks may enjoy that. I find it's particularly nice because it gives me a little bit of control more in the center of my hand. So rather than sort of levering the whole rapier with the back pommel, all of that control almost feels like it's in the palm of my hand, right where my control is originating from in the first place. What's especially nice about this particular example is that there is an indentation that's been made in the blade to allow the finger and the thumb to rest around the blade a little bit more comfortably. So instead of it being just a straight through, there is a small groove in there that makes the sword very comfortable in the hand to be held. I want to say that this sword was a delight to fence with. Has a tremendously good presence in the bind, which is something that a lot of folks are looking for when they're trying to find a good representation of a historical rapier. And this one is that, at least in the blade, because it's based exactly on a original example. It may not be as fast in disengages as some people may be used to if they enjoy using lighter blades a little bit more, but as far as a blade that has a tremendously good presence, this sword definitely brings that to the fight. I don't have a whole lot to say to criticize this sword as far as its handling characteristics, but one thing I want to say is that because it uses a cord wrap style on the handle, it can be a little rough on the hands if you're not wearing a glove. One thing that I particularly like about this rapier, and with all Blackfencer swords that I've handled, is that the pommel is peened in at the end, which was really nice because with a lot of other rapiers that I've handled, after tremendous amounts of use, the pommel starts to unscrew itself after numerous exchanges. With a peened pommel like this, there was no rattle, and I never had to worry about the pommel unscrewing on me in the middle of the fight. When I was first handed this rapier, one of the first things that came out of my mouth was, "That rapier is beautiful and I wish there was a dagger to go along with it." So I'm happy to introduce the Blackfencer Steel Dagger. So as of right now, this is the only dagger that's been made. It's just a prototype with the forward swept key-ons, but we're gonna spar with it and see how it handles. So after having used both of these weapons on their own, both in drilling and sparring, I've got to say I'm very excited about the future of rapiers out of Blackfencer. The dagger handles very well. It's a little stiff in this iteration. We're going to work with them very closely to iterate, improve, and tweak, but I gotta say this was a lot of fun to bring you guys. If you've enjoyed this content, please don't forget to like and subscribe, or if you feel up to it, leave us a comment.
Oh, this is a terrible day.